de presse France.
French press conference is about to start. We will start with questions from the room.
Bonsoir à tous les deux. Question
Good evening, both of you. Question for Fabien.
Une réaction
First
après
of all,
deux deuxièmes places.
what is your reaction
remportez le tournoi des Six Nations.
After coming second twice, at least this year, you win the tournament? Well, last year we had a dead hit with England, but this time we win and we win the Grand Slam. It's great. It's fantastic. I'm very happy.
On aimerait aussi avoir la réaction d'Antoine.
We would also like to hear Antoine. How do you feel after having won the Grand Slam at last? Well, as Fabien was saying, this will be our third tournament together. We were very close twice, so we understand how difficult it is to win the tournament. Every match is difficult, and this year again, we have experienced it. It's a long competition, and when the outcome is a happy outcome, obviously it's very nice to be able to celebrate together and let the pressure go.
Bonsoir Fabien, félicitations.
Good evening, Fabien.
Vous avez pour
Congratulations.
habitude de nous parler et d'utiliser
Usually,
l'expression on touche au sublime.
You say we are close to the sublime. Can you tell us tonight how you feel? More emotions, I guess. Well, today was different. We were very tense due to the fact that we had to wait. Also because of the stakes, the symbols. It was sublimely tense. That's something we had never experienced before. We had never experienced this kind of very closed match. There was a lot at stake on every single phase. Every decision could be a turnaround in the match. So for the team and for us, it's maybe a very first unbelievable experience, and I believe we will grow from there. Good evening, gentlemen. Antoine, as the captain, you lifted the trophy. It's the 10th French Grand Slam. Do you realize that you're following Rive Carrère du Sautoir? You're making history in the French rugby story. Well, you forgot Fabien Galthie. Thank you. No, of course, lots of memories connected with the tournament. But today, first and foremost, we wanted to win for ourselves, for our staffs, for our fans. We wanted to write our history, but we also wanted to add a line to a beautiful story. And many players and teams have won before us, and we can draw our inspiration from there. Good evening. Can you describe the atmosphere in the changing room right now? There's lots of people. It's crowded. We have people from the Légion étrangère with colonels. They have welcomed us for 2 weeks. They have started the competition, but it's okay. It's fairly quiet. People are tired. We're very happy, but very peaceful for now. Fabien, you said the team was tense. Was there a bit more tension at the very beginning of the second half time? You know, the English team was back in the game. The outcome was a happy one, but there was more tension at that particular time. Well, of course, we wanted to score before they did at the beginning of the second half, and we didn't because we wanted to take more distance, but they came back in the score, and it happens. It has happened before in many matches. We've been there before. So it's a scenario that we're familiar with, a scenario that reminded us of the All Blacks, of Ireland, of Wales last weekend. So yes, it was the same scenario all over again, maximum intensity, with a lot at stake on every ball possession, on every defensive action. Every single decision mattered. It was intense. Gentlemen, good evening. Congratulations. Now, the question that comes to everyone's mind now after this tournament is, what about the World Cup in 2023? Well, we all had the World Cup in mind. I mean, everybody talks about the World Cup. We discuss it between us, but I think that for now we're going to enjoy the victory, the Grand Slam, the end of the competition all together, and we will start thinking about the World Cup later.
Bonsoir, bonsoir Fabien.
Good evening, Fabien, RRB, New Caledonia. Can you tell us about the Caledonians' role in this tournament? Mauvaka, Taufifenua, and the player from Futuna, Moefana. What contribution do they make to the team before and after in the team's life? Well, they're members of the French team. It's a very mixed team. We have players from overseas, from your area, and they have very special qualities, physical qualities, above standard. They're also very accurate. They have power. And socially, tribe for them is a very important concept. They like to live in a group. And they derive a lot of pleasure from living in a group. It is the French team that looks like a tribe. We are a tribe. We have people from other origins. We have a South African. We have a player who comes from Northern Africa. So if you look at the ethnic origin of our players, it is like France, like the Gaulois members of the team. They belong to that team. Fabien, good evening. Back to my colleague's question. What does it mean for the staff to have a team that has won the Grand Slam and won the tournament? When you prepare for the World Cup, what does it mean for the way you're going to work? The fact that you've won this tournament? Well, first of all, it brought us a lot of happiness. You know, when you win, it means you've made the right decisions, that you've worked well, that you've chosen the right players, that you have built the right team, that you've given them the right directions. I think we've reached 75% victories. If we take all the competitions, tomorrow we will become the number 2 team in the world. We're going in the right direction. The team is very young. It's going to grow. It's going to improve. Today, the average age was less than 26 years and less than 20 caps in average. So there's no reason the team is not going to improve. You know, playing this sort of match with so much tension that actually bounced on us. And yet we went into the match with a lot of experience, trying to forget about any negative thought. But you have to experience that kind of match to understand. You have to go through the finals to grow and develop a joint experience. When we finish the World Cup, it will be match number 46, and everything is fairly clear in our minds.
James on Teams.
James on Teams.
Antoine, congratulations. You got a mathematical, but the back row today, Francois Cross, absolutely world class. Would you? Those 3 great players.
James, we didn't hear the question because your connection was really bad.
Antoine, he got the match ball today, but yet the back row, Jelange and Cross, absolutely has to his back row.
Okay, James, can you write the question on Teams and we will go back to the room, please. Question en salle, s'il vous plaît.
Axel à Europe 1. Antoine, là, quand on vous voit en visio,
Axel à Europe 1.
votre regard et votre
When we see you here, you don't look very happy. Are you happy, Antoine? And then Fabien, are you happy? Are you feeling joy? Because you seem to reply in a very quiet way. Are you happy? Of course we're happy. This is an unbelievable emotion. We could use any kind of word to define what we're feeling right now. But we can't wait to go and celebrate together. And maybe it's time to share, because we haven't mentioned that, but we really want to share this victory with all the French clubs, the professional clubs that we're working with, who support us, who have adopted our method during this competition. They've allowed us to work the way we wanted to work, and we want to share it with the 1,900 clubs in the French Union and all the rugby players belonging to the French Union. We heard from the people who share our happiness, and that's very important. So yes, okay, we're not jumping up and down right now because this is a press conference and we're behaving, but we will celebrate when the time comes. Now we're simply answering the question in a very quiet way. Antoine, you're the best tackler in the match, 15 tackles. I don't remember number 9 tackling so many times. Are you aware that what you did tonight and throughout the competition is just unbelievable? And Fabien, what do you think about Antoine's tournament? I did not look at the statistics, and that's not something that I'm going to do in the next few hours. And it's going to express our state of mind. Even during difficult and long sequences, nobody gave up. Nobody got out of control, and that defines who we are and the way we want to be on the pitch. We're aware that the technique and the strategy matters a lot, but our frame of mind is also very important. That's why it allows us to win the matches, especially during the difficult times. And we know we go through difficult times every weekend.
français.
1,900 clubs in France. We saw you go around the pitch to share the happiness with your friends and relatives. What happened? What did it mean to you in that particular moment? Well, for me, it was a question for Fabien. When you went around the pitch for a lap of honor. Well, you know, it's the same thing. Antoine thought it was for him, and I thought it was for myself. And we don't know where our friends and relatives are in any way. So it's so good to be able to share. It just gives meaning to everything we do. We share with the people we don't know, but we simply know that they're passionate about rugby, and we share the happiness with our friends and relatives. They've supported us forever, and we give them happiness, and we derive happiness from their smiles and emotion. It gives meaning to what we do. So Antoine was running in one direction, I was running in the other direction, depending where our friends were. Well, I guess you got your friends in better seating positions than mine.
On va faire la question donc de James.
Alors, la question de James, c'était Antoine, vous avez été extraordinaire personnellement, mais vos arrières l'ont été également. Est-ce que vous voudriez justement dire quelque chose sur l'excellent travail de François, d'Anthony et de Greg? Parce qu'ils ont vraiment contrôlé les points de fixation de manière extraordinaire.
Ouais, bien sûr. Je pense qu'on parle de...
Of course, we talk about all three of them. Since the beginning of the tournament, they have... had outstanding performances every weekend, and I know what I'm talking about because I'm right behind them, so I see them. And, you know, they are the people that we don't really see, and the public doesn't really necessarily understand how much they matter in the team, and they play for the rest of the team without thinking about themselves. And that's the frame of mind of the whole team. We mentioned those names, but we could mention the whole team's names.
Tu as gagné ce tournoi en tant que capitaine.
Fabien, you win this tournament. You won this tournament as a captain.
C'est vraiment différent.
Back in the days, is it different being the coach, the head coach? Is it a different experience versus when you were the captain? Well, there's a 20-year difference. It was in 2002. Today's 22. It's a lifetime. 20 years are a long time. You don't expect that to happen. But, nothing happens by chance. I believe that your path is your destiny and your character determines your path. I remember it was on a Sunday. It was daytime. We played Ireland. Lovely weather. It was different. It's great. It's great. It's great to be able to feel the same thing again 20 years later. It's good. Feels good. Except they're playing. We're supporting them. They're playing. It's different. That's the difference. 20 years earlier, I was on the pitch. 20 years later, I was sitting in the stands.
On va prendre une dernière question.
One last question.
Antoine.
Jérémy de Midol. Sorry, I talk about you again, but you're following an unbelievable path. You have, for the last year, you've been called best European player, best player in the world. You're the captain of the team. I mean, you feel you're lucky. Of course, I'm lucky. I was lucky to win very early with my club, and I felt I was lucky. Some people have a great career and never get to lift a trophy. So being able to do it with my club and then with the French team at my age, of course I know I'm lucky. And I'm lucky because I've played in a generation that has outstanding performances. And of course I don't want it to stop. And it gives me more motivation to continue practicing, training, because I want to live this again.
C'était donc la fin de cette conférence de presse.
End of the press
Nous allons
conference.
faire la zone mixte en virtuel également. Merci.
Mixed zone next.